Hello everyone, welcome to Focal Point. Now we are going to start a new topic, that is our structure chapter. Okay, so we are going to start structure now in C programming language. So what is the structure and what is the use of it, we will see in this video. So let's start. So earlier we were working on some data structures that were predefined, and we don't need to give the definition of it, like integer, float. Okay, so these are the data structure, or double, or anything character. So any any of these data structure we don't need to define by ourselves, because all the definition is given already in the header file, and compiler will go into the header file and check what is the definition of it, how to implement all of these. Okay, and these are also the data structure which is store the value of same type. That means if I want to store the data in an integer array, then all the data that will be stored will be of type integer, or in a float array all the data structure will be stored in of the type is float, same as in double or character. So these are the predefined data type which store the same value. Okay, so if we need a data structure which can store the different data types. Okay, so different data types which can store, and it should be of user defined. It is not predefined, it should be of user defined type. So this is the thing that we can implement using our structured data type. So you can understand that structure is a data type which can store different uh, types of data. Like in here, and you can see that we are going to store integer, float, and character at the same time. Okay, and we are going to define it with a keyword struct, and we have to give a name. Okay, so this is our structured data type. So this is a user defined data type which can store different data types. Okay, so this is a data type, this is a user defined data type which can store a different type of data types. Okay, so here we are define it as a struct, that is a keyword, and that is necessary to identify as a structure, and this is the name of the structure, and we have defined that and we are going to store integer a, float b, and character c. Okay, so this is the definition of it. In the definition of any data structure, we are not going to initialize the memory, because at this stage no memory will be allocated. This is just a definition. Okay, so this is just a definition, so no memory will be allocated at this time, and this is just a definition. And after that we are going to make a variable of type struct node. So what is a struct node? We know that this is a structure, and we have given a name of it. We have created the instance of it. Okay, so now we have defined a new variable named d of type struct node. And what is struct node? This is our structure for this definition. Okay, so first value should be integer, second value will be float, and third value will be character value. So if we want to initialize our data type, so what we have to do, we are just going to initialize like this. First value should be an integer value, second value will be a float value, and third value will be a character value. Okay, so this is how we are going to define our data type, and this is how we are going to define our structured data type, and this is how we are going to initialize our structured data type. Okay, and if we want to access the values or data of it, so how we are going to access the data? So if we want to access our data from this structure, then what we have to do, we have to use an operator, that is a dot operator. This is also called select operator. Okay, so why we need to use this? So these variable which stores these three values. Okay, so inside the three values are stored. So if we want to access the specific value, mean what value, mean the first value or second value or third value we want to access, then we have to use the select operator or dot operator. So how we can get the value to access? If you want to access the integer value, then we have to just write d dot a. If you want to access the float value, then we have to write d dot b, because inside d I want to print b. Okay, and we can also print the address of d because the d is a variable. So if you want to store the address of this structure inside a pointer, then what we can do is we can define, first we need to define the pointer. So asterisk e means e is a pointer and it is pointing to struct node. That means the structure of type node. So this type of structure is going to point. Okay, so we have defined this d is of type struct node. That's why the address of d can be stored in this pointer. So simple as that. And if you want to print the address of it, so we can do so. This address and this address should be same. Okay, because the same address we are going to store in this pointer. And we can also we know that we can also access the value using the pointer. So in the place of d dot a, we can also write asterisk e. That means we are going to access the value of d. That this asterisk e mean we are accessing d, and d dot b. So our this float value will be accessed. That means 20 should be the output of it. So what will be the output of this code? So in this section we are accessing 10, so 10, and here to 20.5 this float value, and again we are going to access the word 20.5 so float. So the output of this code should be 10, 20.5, 20.5. Okay, so this should be the output of it. So let's run the code. First of all we need to save this. Okay, and we need to just run our code, and there's a error in here. So what is the error? We need to remove the error. So in the definition of the structure we need to apply a semicolon. Okay, so this is really very important. And now there's no error, and let's see what is the output of it. So I've already told you that output should be 10, 20.5 and 20.5, and we are also printing these addresses. So these addresses are also printed. Okay, so we have also printed the address of it, and this address should be same. Okay, so this is the output of it. So thank you so much. You can also try this code and see what is the output of it. See you in the next video.